The pristine walls of St. Clair Medical Center's executive boardroom felt suffocating as I sat through another family dinner disguised as a hospital board meeting. Dad, the current CEO, stood at the head of the table, gesturing at profit charts while my older sister Lauren nodded enthusiastically in her perfectly pressed white coat. "Our family has run this network for 3 generations," Dad announced proudly. "And soon, Lauren will continue our legacy as chief of surgery." I adjusted my simple black blazer, checking my phone discreetly. The notification made me smile. Final paperwork complete. Transfer of ownership confirmed. "What about you, Olivia?" Mom's voice dripped with disappointment. "Still working on that. What was it?" "Medical technology startup." "Something like that," I replied, watching the hospital director, Mr. Phillips, hurry toward our meeting room with an urgent expression. "She blew her $50,000 inheritance from Grandma on that startup," Dad told everyone, shaking his head. "While Lauren invested hers in hospital stocks like a sensible doctor." Lauren smirked, her diamond engagement ring catching the light. "Not everyone can handle the family business, Daddy. Some of us are meant for greater things, others." She glanced at me, "Waste their potential." The boardroom door burst open. Mr. Phillips entered, clutching a stack of papers, his face pale. "Dr. Anderson," he addressed Dad, "we need your immediate approval on the new cardiac wing budget, but..." He swallowed hard. "According to our records, Dr. Olivia now owns 73% of our medical network." Mom's coffee cup missed her mouth entirely, creating a brown stain on her designer blouse. "That's impossible," Dad sputtered. "She's not even on the board." I stood slowly, smoothing my blazer. "Actually, I am. As majority shareholder, I appointed myself chairwoman last night." "But, your inheritance," Lauren stammered. "You spent it on that failing startup." "MedTech Solutions?" I smiled. "The company that just revolutionized AI-driven diagnostics?" "Yes, I did. That $50,000 investment is now worth $2.3 billion. Enough to buy controlling interest in every hospital in our network." Dad collapsed into his chair. "You can't. This is our family legacy." I corrected, pulling out my tablet. "Mr. Phillips, please distribute the new organizational charts. As you'll see, some significant changes are coming." Lauren lunged for the papers. "I'm supposed to be chief of surgery. We announced it last week." "About that," I turned to her. "Your performance reviews are concerning. 3 malpractice suits settled quietly. Patient complaints about your bedside manner. My board now, feels you need more time in residency. This is outrageous." Mom stood up, coffee still dripping from her blouse. "You can't just take over our hospitals." "Our hospitals?" I raised an eyebrow. "The ones you inherited rather than earned? The ones where qualified doctors were passed over so Lauren could advance? Those hospitals." My phone buzzed. The press release was going live. "Turn on the news," I suggested, pointing to the boardroom's massive screen. The headline scrolled. "Medical prodigy Dr. Olivia Anderson acquires major hospital network. AI diagnostics revolution promises affordable healthcare for all." "You were so busy mocking my waste of inheritance," I continued, "you never noticed what I was building. Every time you called my startup worthless, I bought more shares. Every time Lauren got a promotion she didn't earn, I acquired another hospital." Mr. Phillips handed me another document. "The transfer of the executive offices is complete, Dr. Anderson. Would you like to see your new space?" Dad's face turned purple. "My office? You're taking my office." "Actually," I smiled, "I'm turning it into a free clinic. The penthouse view will be perfect for patients who could never afford your premium care rates." The look on their faces was worth every dismissive comment, every family dinner spent listening to Lauren's accomplishments, every mockery of my wasted inheritance. Lauren's pager beeped, a sound that would soon be obsolete under my new AI diagnostic system. She ignored it, her perfectly manicured hands shaking as she flipped through the organizational changes. "This is a mistake," she insisted, voice cracking. "I've spent years preparing to run this network." "Preparing?" I pulled up her personnel file on the boardroom screen. "Let's review your preparation. 3 surgeries where junior residents did the work while you took credit. 5 complaints about refusing to treat Medicare patients. And I paused for effect. Interesting notes about your research papers being surprisingly similar to unpublished works by your subordinates. Mom gasped. Those are confidential records. We're confidential, I corrected. Transparency is our new policy. Speaking of which, I pressed a button on my tablet, and the boardroom walls transformed into digital displays showing real-time hospital statistics. These screens will now show waiting times, treatment costs, and patient outcomes. No more hiding poor performance behind family connections. Dad stood up, attempting to regain control. The board won't stand for this. The board. I laughed softly. Already replaced. Meet your new directors. The screens showed profiles of renowned medical innovators from around the world. Unlike the old board, they actually earned their positions. Mr. Phillips cleared his throat. Dr. Anderson, the press is waiting in the lobby. And the new AI diagnostic units are being installed in all emergency departments. Lauren's face went white. AI diagnostics? But that eliminates half my job. It eliminates human error, I corrected. And bias. Your tendency to prioritize wealthy patients won't be an issue anymore. The news coverage continued on the screens. Revolutionary AI system shows 99.8% accuracy in early disease detection. Dr. Olivia Anderson's medtech solutions set to transform healthcare. But what about the Anderson legacy? Mom pleaded. I walked to the window, looking out at the hospital complex that had been our family's symbol of power. The legacy of overcharging patients? Of promoting family over talent? That legacy ends today. My phone buzzed again. The stock market was reacting to the news. Our share price had doubled in minutes. You have choices to make, I announced, turning back to my family. Lauren, you can return to residency, this time without preferential treatment. Dad, you can retire gracefully or face the board's investigation into your hiring practices. Mom, the charity foundation needs reorganizing, actual charity this time, not social events disguised as fundraisers. And if we refuse? Lauren challenged. I smiled, picking up my tablet. Then you can read about your replacements in tomorrow's papers. Either way, the Anderson Medical Network is entering the future. With or without the Andersons. Security entered. My security team now. The office is ready, Dr. Anderson. Perfect. I headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and Lauren, that parking spot you love, right by the emergency entrance? It's being converted to ambulance space. You can use the staff lot like everyone else. As I walked out, I heard Mom burst into tears and Dad slump into his chair. But for the first time in years, the sound of their disappointment didn't affect me. After all, I hadn't wasted my inheritance. I'd multiplied it. And in doing so, I'd purchased the right to remake our family's legacy into something actually worth preserving. 1 month after the takeover, I stood in the newly renovated emergency department, watching as my AI diagnostic system processed patients 4 times faster than the old method. The waiting room, once crowded with suffering people, now moved efficiently as technology and humanity worked in perfect harmony. My phone buzzed with a message from the board. Lauren's residency evaluation complete. Results concerning. Before I could respond, Mom's familiar click of heels echoed through the corridor. She'd traded her designer suits for more practical attire since taking over the foundation. My first sign that perhaps change was possible. Olivia, she said, clutching a newspaper. Have you seen today's headline? I had. Anderson Network revolutionizes emergency care. Wait times drop 75% under new leadership. That's not the one I mean. She thrust the society pages at me. Lauren's fiancé broke off their engagement. He's accepting a position at Mayo Clinic. Probably because I canceled his unearned research grant, I replied, watching the AI system diagnose a complex cardiac case in minutes. Merit matters now, Mom. She's devastated. First her chief of surgery position, now this. She's lucky I didn't report her research plagiarism, I cut in. How is she doing in her renewed residency? Mom's silence was telling. My tablet chimed with an incoming video call. Dad, calling from his mandatory retirement vacation. The board found more irregularities, he started without preamble. But they must be mistakes. The offshore accounts? I interrupted. Or the hidden malpractice settlements. Don't worry, Dad. The FBI already has everything. His face paled. You reported your own father? I reported a CEO who violated healthcare laws, I corrected. Family doesn't excuse fraud. The emergency department doors burst open as Lauren stormed in, still in her surgical scrubs. You did this, she screamed. You destroyed everything. Security moved forward, but I waved them back. It was time for this confrontation. No, Lauren. You did this. All of you did. Every time you chose privilege over merit. Every time you put profit over patience. Every time you mocked my little startup, while practicing medieval medicine. Medieval, she sputtered. I'm a surgeon. Are you? I pulled up her latest evaluation on my tablet. Because according to your supervisors, you can barely handle basic procedures without assistance. Your success was built on our name, not your skills. Mom stepped between us. Girls, please. Show them, I commanded the AI system. The wall screens lit up with patient statistics. Left side, Lauren's cases. Right side, first-year residents. Notice anything. The numbers were damning. Lauren's complications rates, patient complaints, and procedure times were significantly worse than doctors with a quarter of her experience. That's not fair. Lauren protested. These new systems are rigged. The systems show truth, I cut in. Raw data. No family name to hide behind. No dad to smooth things over. Just facts. My phone buzzed again. The AI system had just prevented 3 potential misdiagnoses in other hospitals across our network. This is what I was building while you were planning your chief of surgery acceptance speech, I continued. Real innovation. Real change. Real medicine. Lauren slumped against the wall, her carefully constructed world crumbling. What am I supposed to do now? Learn, I replied simply. Start over. Earn your position instead of inheriting it. The AI system can be your teacher instead of your replacement, if you're willing to admit you need teaching. Mom looked around the transformed emergency department, reality finally sinking in. All this time while we were bragging about Lauren's career, you were actually changing medicine. Funny how success looks different when you measure it by impact instead of status, I said, turning back to my tablet. Now, if you'll excuse me, we're implementing the system in 3 new hospitals today. As I walked away, Lauren called out, Why didn't you tell us about any of this? I paused, looking back at my family standing in the middle of my revolution. Would you have listened? Or just told me I was wasting my inheritance again? Sometimes the greatest innovations come from those everyone underestimated. And sometimes the best revenge is simply proving them wrong. 6 months after the takeover, I stood on the stage of our largest hospital's auditorium, preparing to unveil the next phase of our medical revolution. The room was packed with international media, healthcare leaders, and most surprisingly, my family sitting quietly in the back row. Dr. Anderson's AI system has reduced medical errors by 89% across the network, the presenter announced. Patient satisfaction is at record highs, and treatment costs have dropped by 60%. I approached the podium, noting how Lauren, now in standard resident scrubs, actually appeared to be taking notes. Dad sat beside her, the arrogance gone from his posture, while Mom watched with what looked like genuine pride. Today, I began, we're announcing the Global Health Initiative. Our AI diagnostic system will be made available to developing nations at no cost. Healthcare shouldn't be a privilege of wealth or geography. The audience erupted in applause. In the back, I saw Dad wipe his eyes. My phone buzzed with breaking news. Anderson Network transforms healthcare. Stock hits record high as global initiative launches. After the presentation, Lauren approached me hesitantly. Your AI caught something today, she said quietly. A diagnosis I missed. It saved my patient's life. That's what it's designed to do, I replied. Help doctors be better, not replace them. I've been thinking about what you said, she continued. About earning things. I'd like to learn the system properly. Start over. Do it right this time. Before I could respond, Mom joined us holding a dusty box. I found this in the attic, she said. Your old research notes from when you first started the company. I never read them back then. I should have. Inside the box were journals filled with early AI algorithms, patient care theories, and one photo of me at 12 holding my first computer, declaring I would change medicine forever. You did it, Mom whispered. While we were focused on maintaining the old system, you built a better one. Dad approached last, looking older but somehow more real without his CEO facade. The FBI finished their review, he said. Thanks to your cooperation, they're not pressing charges. But I understand why you reported everything. It wasn't about punishment, I explained. It was about transformation. The network needed to change. We needed to change, Lauren corrected. My tablet chimed. The AI system had just prevented its millionth potential medical error worldwide. Lives saved by technology and truth. I'm establishing a new medical scholarship, I announced. For students who have brilliant ideas but lack family connections. The kind of student I was before the inheritance. The inheritance you didn't waste, Mom said softly. No, I smiled. I invested it. In change. The auditorium screens still showed the Global Health Initiative launch. Hospitals in developing nations were already implementing the system, saving lives that the old medical establishment had ignored. Lauren, I turned to my sister. There's a position opening in our AI research department. Entry level. No shortcuts, no family preferences. Interested? She nodded, understanding the opportunity and restriction being offered. And Dad, I continued, the ethics board needs experienced advisors. Someone who understands how power can corrupt medicine and how to prevent it. If you're willing to teach from your mistakes. He straightened, finding purpose in redemption. I'd be honored. Mom held up my childhood photo. Should we hang this in the hospital lobby? The beginning of the real Anderson legacy. No, I replied. Hang it in the research lab. To remind everyone that innovation doesn't care about your last name or your connections. It only cares about your ideas. As my family left to their new roles, earned roles, I looked out over the hospital complex. The AI system hummed efficiently, saving lives without prejudice or privilege. Doctors learned from technology instead of fearing it. Patients received care based on need, not wealth. This was the true inheritance. Not money or position, but the power to create change. And sometimes the best investment isn't in maintaining the old system, but in building a better one. Even if you have to break some family traditions to do it.